So next topic is solution of the equation of forced mechanical oscillator. The equation of the forced mechanical oscillator is given here, and it consists of four parts basically. This is the damping term, this is the stiffness term, and this is the term related to the driving force, which is F is equal to F naught e raised to power iota omega t, and omega is the frequency here, frequency of the driving force. And the behavior would consist of the two parts basically. The first state is the transient state or the transient behavior of the forced mechanical oscillator, and the other thing is the steady state behavior of the oscillator. In the first behavior, when we are talking about the transient behavior, the transient behavior would persist only for a short interval of time, just in the beginning, and during this time the natural oscillation of the system, they would dominate, and the system would behave as if external force is not present. So if the force is not present, so it means this part could be equated to 0. So this is the equation of the damped oscillator. This we have already discussed, and we are taking the case of the lightly damped oscillations. And as you know, the value of x we have, as we have reduced earlier, that is a naught e raised to power minus r by 2 m t cos of s by m minus r square upon 4m square. This was basically omega. So raised to power 1 by 2 t minus phi. So this is the solution that we have already discussed. So heading towards the solution in case of steady state. So steady state behavior would depend, obviously it would depend on the magnitude of damping, the transient oscillation that would die down, and the external driving force. Now it will dominate the behavior of oscillator, and the external force is present now. Okay, so here we are just letting the solution it to be x is equal to a e raised to power iota omega t. So because here x is the complex part, so a is also taken as a complex basically. So when we are differentiating it twice, because we need to calculate the double differentiation, because we need to fill in this equation. So we have differentiated twice x to get d2x by dt square is equal to minus a omega square e raised to power minus iota omega t, and then after we have substituted in this equation. So first of all m, and then after this all part which is minus m omega square a, and then after r is there. So here you can see r is there, and then after here's the first differentiation dx by dt. So this first order differentiation we have just taken out here, minus iota and a, and e raised to power iota omega t has been basically taken common, e raised to power iota omega t, and then after s into x. So here s is written and x here a, and then after e raised to power iota omega t, because it was common in all the three terms, so it has been taken already out. So this is equal to f naught e raised to power iota omega t. So as you can see, the right hand side is this, and here also right hand side is written here. So which would give you e raised to power iota omega t, because it is common in both the equations, so it would cancel out and we are left with only this. So from here amplitude we have calculated like f naught upon omega iota r plus s by omega minus m omega. So if we are multiplying and dividing this term by minus iota, so we are getting it minus iota, and when we are dividing it, dividing would simply we can also explain like f naught upon omega, and we are taking iota as a common, so we are left with r plus 1 by iota, and then after s by omega minus m omega. Okay, so 1 by iota would be minus iota f naught upon omega, and then after r plus, this would obviously give you minus iota, and m s by, basically s by omega minus m omega, and then after we can write it like minus iota f naught by omega r. And because if we would change these terms, so negative would come out and we are left with positive. Okay, so plus iota m omega minus s upon omega. So this is the final term which we have derived. This is same like this. Alternatively, you can obviously multiply it with minus iota and divide it with minus iota to get this. So in next step we have written this all term r plus iota m omega minus s by omega as zm. Okay, so we have taken this because this was a complex function, so this zm is written here. So you can see that amplitude is complex. Amplitude is complex here, and zm is of main concern because it is having a lot of importance in this vibrational oscillators. So this Zm term is called the complex mechanical impedance of the oscillator. So it basically consists of two parts. This is the real part and this is the imaginary part. So first part R. R is basically the resistance to the oscillatory motion, which is due to friction or due to viscosity, and in case of electrical oscillator, this R is basically the electrical resistance, which we denoted by capital R. And this term, this is the imaginary term m omega minus s by omega, or we can say omega m minus s by omega. This term is further denoted as xm, and this is called a reactance due to the combined effect of inertia and elasticity. Okay, so we have two terms here. So the complex basically mechanical impedance is consist of two parts. One is the resistance and other is the reactance. So omega m is the inertial reactance and s by omega is known as the elastic reactance. So here Zm is the complex mechanical impedance of the oscillator.